Well, howdy y'all, welcome back to the Social Regressive. We've finally gotten to the point where we can take the gun out to the range, and before I fire a shot, I need to Boresight this. Just like a bolt-action rifle, this is actually pretty simple. You don't need any special gizmos, no tools, no lasers. I actually hate all of those things. They work a lot worse than just using your eyeballs, as long as your eyeballs work. This is a little bit different than a bolt-action, but just as easy. All I have to do is pop the lower off the rifle. Put that to the side, get the bolt out of the way, and let's move the charging latch. And now I can see straight through the bore if I want to. And what I'm gonna have to do is prop this up. So I've got a bunch of sandbags here. Anything solid will do. I really like sandbags because they're heavy, they're not going anywhere, and the rifle can just kind of settle into it. Because my big deal here today is I want this to stay in one place. If I touch it just a little bit, I don't want it to really move much. And if I let go, I don't want it to fall down. So I've got it on a bipod out front. I have the back here on a sandbag. It looks like I'll need just a little bit more, but let's take a look. I'm gonna look through the bore, and yeah, I'm looking at pure sky. That's too much, but we're getting close. I have my bore perfectly aligned to a target 100 yards away, but you can see that the scope is off. It's pointing down at one of the green targets below. So now it's time to get on these excellent turrets from Athlon, and we're going to track this into the appropriate spot. Now I can actually measure this because this is mill all the way around. I can actually bring this up the correct number of clicks. And once it points at the black dot on there with the scope, then everything should be right and you can take your first shot. Of course, you want to double check, make sure nothing moved, but this should be ready to go. Feeling lucky? Let's put this together and see how it works. Today's test ammo is the Hornady Match 108 grain ELDM. This is the factory load, and I am using the Duramag mags from C Products. They have a bunch of different sizes. They have a 26 rounder, a 20, a 10. This is the 10 right here. And this is kind of low and relatively flush, so that should make it easy for us to do this kind of prone work today. All right, first round through the barrel. All right, so we're about 2 inches high and 2 inches left. All we have to do is adjust from here. And since I have a mill reticle, I can just adjust the turrets here based on what I see. It's gonna be a 1/2 mil radian each way, and then that should put it right on. Let's see how few shots this can take us to get on target. All right, 5 clicks right, 5 clicks down. Oh, so close. Now the wind is slightly from the right, but it shouldn't have been enough to knock it off that far. Vertical's good. Let's fix the horizontal. All right, I've just run into one other thing. I didn't know what the gas block settings should be on here, and it's undergassed. It's not going far enough back to kick out the brass reliably. So I'm gonna fix that first, and then we'll get back on. I opened it up 5 clicks, we'll see if that does it. And I'm leaving the brass catcher off the side for now. I'll just hope to find the brass because I want to make absolutely sure nothing gets in the way and that this can clear. Okay. Now remember that this barrel is starting to break in and there's heat and all kinds of things. So we may start to see a little a shift around as this starts to break in, starts to kind of get its own feel. So yeah, I'm not expecting tight groups right out of the box or anything, but it looks like we're pretty much on target. And I saw that brass go flying out. It looked like it went kind of backward. So I think I can still open up the gas just a little bit and see if we can maybe get it a little bit more straight out the side or a little bit more forward, see if we can get a little bit more of a drive back on that bolt. Oh yeah, there it is. It didn't go very far. Woo, that's hot. Looks good though. I don't see any excessive pressure signs. Maybe just a tiny bit of swipe, but the primer looks pretty good. Oh, is there one in there? Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't enough gas to actually drive the next round into the chamber. It didn't get far enough back. So I'm gonna open it up even more than those 2 clicks that I gave it. Looks like it didn't fully drive. Yep, there we go. It almost kind of started to pick up the next round. It clamped it. Yeah, there's a bit of a bend in the shoulder now, a little bit of a kink. That's all right. That's not bad. More gas. Okay, I think everything felt good that time. Not quite. It wasn't enough to drive the bolt all the way back to hold open, but it did cycle that second round. Let's see what the group looks like. Not the greatest, it's wandering around a little bit. I bet this will settle in pretty soon though. Looks like we have about 1.5 inches all the way around. Looks like mostly vertical dispersion. I'm pretty sure I have the gas block all the way open, so that could indicate that we need a lighter buffer back here. So we'll see how this does. If this doesn't function everything 100%, we'll have to switch to a lighter buffer. Tell you what, I'm gonna go for a clean target. We'll get that green one on the left. Yeah, didn't cycle all the way. You can see that the brass ended up pretty close to me. It's just not coming back hard enough. Yeah, still didn't come back far enough. Oh my gosh, this gun is gonna be a shooter. All right, we've put I think we put about 10 rounds through here so far. And that 3-shot group, well, it just stacked the last 2 shots on top of each other. It looks like we're dealing with about maybe a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of dispersion. And this is gonna break in little by little as we go through the day. Now, I'm sad the buffer wasn't quite the right weight. So we're gonna fix this. I'll get back to you guys. And actually in this video, I'm gonna annotate what the weight is on this buffer. And maybe a different one you can swap to. There may be another stock that you can think about that has a different buffer that you can use on this. Part of the reason why it's not going to be very heavy, well, okay, there's going to be less gas because this is a rifle length gas system. That's how it goes. We're not going to have quite as much pressure out on that end, so it's not going to come back very hard. So yeah, we're going to have to swap out this. It's going to be a very mild shooter though. Really firing this today, I forgot that this was 6mm arc when it comes to recoil. It feels like 223. Part of that is gonna be the brake. The brake is awesome. But even comparing the same brake on 2 different rifles, like I have it on a 223 and I have it on this one here, and it really feels the same. This feels like shooting a 223. 6mm arc is going to be fantastic. I can already tell. It's gonna hit hard, it's gonna be easy to get on target, and this rifle with this scope is going to be really precise. And I really like the placement of those last shots. So since this is 0.1 mils per click, that means that I'm going to move it a whole centimeter if I start moving this around. So I'm going to lock this down as is. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing how easy it is to Boresight a rifle. You can do this with bolt actions as well. Just take the bolt out and you can do the exact same thing. And you can see that just click, 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 you work it right in there. And then this is gonna be right on target. If you do go wide, if you head off in some weird direction, get a buddy to help you try to figure out where you're hitting, and then you can walk everything back. But aside from that, yeah, you can see no special equipment, no lasers. This is just really easy to do. You can use boxes. I've used all kinds of different rests and sandbags and just junk that I found around, blocks of wood. It doesn't matter. As long as you can keep the rifle relatively steady, it works. Now check us out in the next video. We're gonna do some accuracy testing with this. I know that the barrel is still fresh and it's still breaking in, but I'm already seeing some good accuracy potential. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna test the match. We're gonna do some 5-shot groups, open and with a suppressor. And we're gonna do the 105 grain BTHP as well, which is one of my favorite loads. That one worked better in the last rifle as well. So let's go to it. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These 2 videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, the Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the destructive arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.